everyone, this is Ryan with Little Farm on the Prairies. This is the first video of many to come. This is a new channel, and this will be, I guess, kind of an introduction, you could say. I'm from Manitoba, Canada, and I have a 15-acre property with shop and barn and what have you, house, shop, various things, nice barn, and I am a fan of antique farm equipment. Now I have a little bit of land I can use to farm with, and that's actually just around here, and I'm going to see if I can bring you guys along on my adventure to rebuild, restore, repair any equipment anywhere from the 1900s and earlier all the way up to the 50s. This is kind of where I'm stopping, basically. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. It's still winter here. In fact, actually, we had some of the coldest times we've ever had. For the lengthwise anyway. It usually does get quite cold, and I know that at this time right now Texas and the southern states are dying right now. They're not used to the cold, they're not set up for the cold, and they're having days well below zero for weeks now, so I feel bad for them. But here, you know, it's zero right now, going from minus 40 Celsius or Fahrenheit. It's around the same at that temperature, and now it's zero, and you can see here, you know, I'm in a sweater just because it's so dang nice out. So I thought today would be a good first video to put out, kind of get the ball rolling as the snow melts. It's just around the corner, so I thought maybe this video would be kind of showing you what I got, what my plans are for the next couple years, and kind of what kind of content you guys can expect to see in the next couple years. Before we carry on with kind of showing you guys some stuff, we first have to take care of something. It snowed quite a bit here, and I decided to clear a bit of snow with our little Kubota tractor, and I also have my Christmas tree that has been inside way too long, and it is ready to get into the burning bin and get set on fire when that's, you know, comes around. So we'll stop here. I'll pick you back up when I'm on the tractor and we're ready to push some snow. too much wood in the fire. It's a little cozy in here. Oh, that's that for now. Alright, so now that's taken care of. The tree's gone. Yeah, you guys probably don't know this, but this is my parents' property. You lived on this. I grew up on this property. We used to live on a 5,000 acre grain farm that was family owned, and things had changed and issues came up in the family, and we all moved off. But we still keep in contact with everybody. It's not that bad. So yeah, we've been living here for 12 years, and I just recently moved to the city about 2 years ago. I do plan on coming back to the country eventually. So yeah, this property is not what it used to be. We've done a lot of work here. My parents have done most of the work, not so much me, but yeah, so you've seen the shop kind of already. The muscle cars are 67 Chargers. They're both my dad's projects. Decent sized house. The middle part there that's in dark color is the original house on the property. It's just 100 some years old, with additions. You've seen the house with the hoist. I got an RV and a little half bin shed there, Quonset. An original granary, I believe it is. And then a newer grain bin up on the side there. And we got some, excuse me, we got some metal to clean up. It's kind of a little junk pile. Some of my treasures I've been picking up over the years. And then we've got the beautiful red barn that we are doing the siding. We actually saved this barn from being taken down and moved it about 15 miles to this property. And this was another shed that was just here before, and we painted it up. So let's go for a little walk. I got my boots on here. Like I said, I like old equipment. I know I have a decent amount of experience in it, not a whole lot, depending what it is. I have a steam tractor, and I have a lot of experience and knowledge in that. Now the gas tractors and tillage equipment and stuff like that, not as much, but I'm learning. So right here I have my 1910, well, we're not exactly sure, I think it might be a 1908 or 1910 American Able steam tractor, 22 horsepower. I've got lots of parts. I currently have a boiler in my other shop that I'm rebuilding right now and fixing, and all the parts are going to go onto that. I have the cylinder out right now being bored out and machined. This is probably a 5-year project. It's not going to be running anytime soon. But you'll see more of that content throughout the year. It's a very expensive thing, and it takes a lot of time. You need to know a lot of people, and yeah, so it's something that doesn't just happen on a winter, especially what I'm doing. The parts are not available. You cast new, actually. You know what? No, I'll leave that for a future video. I've got brand new castings that I got sent out. It's just really who you know in this kind of game for that stuff. They lend you parts you can cast off and whatnot. So here's the barn. Front is all new. Sides are original. But my father decides he wants to do them all to make it look very nice. So I've got a couple things in there to take care of. Here's something I acquired last year. I don't actually know the date of it, the year. There's no tags on it. But it is an Alice Chalmers HD14 crawler with a Detroit 671 in it. It's free. The lugs on the drive sprockets look pretty good. But the closer you look, the more this thing was beat up. It's had a very hard life. If I can get it running, it's just going to be to putt around with. That's a cool old piece. I got some more equipment back there. That's why I'm wearing the boots. I haven't actually walked back here. There's the back of the barn we finished last winter. Added some windows. It's really nice. I love this time of year where you can see the moon during the day. I've got something under a tarp there we'll go over. This is one of the last pieces I dropped off right before the snow fell. It is an international cultivator. IHC cultivator, I should say. Seems to be pretty free. All this old stuff is so loose, even from the factory, it doesn't take much to get it all working again. So I guess we'll do this elephant in the room here. This is a shoot, I can't remember the brand. I think it's called an Acme Stook Loader from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I have the original parts book for it, which has a nice picture of it being pulled by horses. Now what this would be used for is well, it was meant to be pulled by horses. And stooks, if you know what a stook pile is, it is all the grain that is bound tight and spit out the side of the machine, which is the piece behind there. And then you come around and you stack them all up in piles to dry and cure for the coming threshing. So what this was is on larger farms back then, a team of horses would go with the stook loader and the wagon and load up with horses. The stooks would just go up, get picked up and go up and into the thing. And everything does turn, it needs work. Everything I have here needs a lot of work. If you want pristine equipment, you're either not going to get it or you're going to pay lots. For instance, this stook loader, I know of one or two more in North America. I'm sure there's a couple more, but they are not common. This wagon needs a lot of work, and it's nothing fancy either. It's quite a new wagon, but it was given to me. So actually it was a package deal with that stook loader he had. This is an old International Harvester Company threshing machine. I believe it's a 22-inch separator. 22 inches is what the drum length is. There's a big beater inside with teeth on it that mash up the grain and make it work and all that. And it needs work. It needs a lot of new wood. It's been sitting outside forever. First off, the hitch is gone. A lot of the little rocker shafts, so this was wood to here, and it would make a eccentric motion and turn these sieves here, just like that. Everything seems to turn, and it's in pretty good shape. Like this wood pulley here was covered with a pail its whole life, so it's in nice shape. And you can see here that somebody has added pulleys. Actually, no, sorry, they did not add pulleys. These pulleys are for different applications. For instance, this pulley right here goes down to that shaft right there, and that runs your blower. This is your main drive pulley that runs off to a belt off to your machine. And this one back here runs your wind stacker, which is just a fancy way of saying blows the straw through a tube into a pile. And we'll be able to see all this working. Yes, so it is a 22-inch machine. I picked this up right before the winter. I barely looked at it. Yeah, a couple things. That wood's gone, but these were so common, these steel separators. I'll be able to find a pulley, no problem. The bottom got caved in of this blower, so I'll have to see about that. You can see here, these arms, they just rot away. So that's that. Grain elevator. This pulley I think is might be savable. It's kind of wet. We'll see. So, and this back end got smushed in a little bit. But this one isn't very important to me. It'll be fun to get it working. But I have made a deal with a good friend of mine, and he has a wooden IHC separator. Basically the same size as this, just made of wood. Much older, much more desirable. It's been painted, not to the greatest extent, but it's a nice machine. And the big thing is the wood ones never stuck around because farmers left them outside and they rotted away to nothing. So there's not a lot of, they're out there, but they're nowhere near as common as these. Like a 1% of the IHC separators are probably wooden. So I made a deal with him, and I have to get that in the summer and pay for that. So, but I need a place to store it because I can't leave it outside. I don't want to leave a lot of this outside, to be honest, but some of it will have to. Moving on, I have a 5-bottom Minneapolis trip plow. Picked this up last summer as well. A lot of this stuff I picked up last summer, to be honest. It seems to be in good shape. It's all there. A couple bushings need to be redone on the wheels, but it should work no problem. I also have a 4, 3, and 2 bottom plow. 2 of them are International and 1 is John Deere. I have to pick up this coming summer. Now we move on to the International Harvester binder, they are called. You have a reel here. It's missing some slots, which isn't one thing I have to do this summer. But you can see here, I have it bungeed so it doesn't run around. But there's slots that push the grain in, just like a combine you see with the header. Same idea, except the only thing is the grain comes up into here, and this is called the knotter, and it knots the grain and then spits it out. So it makes little bunches, you could say. I had a video of this running when I picked it up. It was wet and rainy, and I greased everything and made sure everything was free and it turned. And I will put that video up right now. There you go. Seems to work. I just don't have the reel set up, and I guess the knotter and all that works on spring mechanisms. So I don't know how that works. But yeah, cool. So you seen that run, and that was nice to see. It needs a lot of work. I've got all the canvases for it, all the canvases that run, and it clamps the grain and brings it up. Got all that. Now we go on to something that I can't really show because I don't want to take the tarps off. This is one of the cooler pieces in my opinion. Along with that Stuke loader, it's a pretty neat piece. This is a Sunshine Waterloo auto harvester. If you want to see one before the summer, you can go ahead and look on YouTube, Google. There's not a lot of videos of them, and most of them are in Australia because this is a combine from Australia. Now it has a stripper header, which means that it cuts only a little bit lower than the head of the grain, like the wheat head. So not so much straw goes through. That was very popular in Australia and is getting more popular in the States, I noticed. And it also comes with a, what do you call it? Like a row header, a pickup header, which I've never used. You can kind of see the wheel there. It's got one big drive wheel. It's a super cool machine. Can't wait to show you guys. And I haven't used it actually threshing grain before, just to run it around and make sure everything works. Needs a little bit of carb work. Well, what can I say about it? They were built in Australia, Melbourne, I think. Melbourne. And Massey Harris, I think it was at the time. I think it was Massey Harris made a deal with Waterloo Sunshine Manufacturing in Australia. We needed a combine here to tap into this market, and So this is just what I understand. I could be wrong, but from what I hear this is how it goes. They decided that they're going to ship all the parts overseas, and these machines were built in Waterloo, Ontario, hence the name Sunshine Waterloo. So it's kind of a joint venture to get some new types of machines to Canada. Canada has a very rich history in agriculture, which you will find out if you don't know already through this channel. Same with the States, you know. The northern states, northern middle states is, what do they call it? Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but anyway, yeah. So they made a joint venture. So this stuff is actually from Australia, and I do have the manual for this as well, which is super cool because it's very in depth. It tells you how to do everything. So I can't wait to show you guys that. That is going to be a really neat piece. This apparently, this is the first self-propelled combine in Canada. That means without a tractor, it runs itself, it drives itself, you sit on it, you run it, just like a new combine type of deal. So I don't know if that's true. I'm just going to pretend it's true because that's cool. So yeah, that's that. You'll see that this summer in some capacity. All right. Okay. Some lights on in here. Oh, and power. That's all right. So here is a bunch of stuff. Me and my brother's cars. Some other stuff. A lot of random things. Projects, what have you. I'm gonna start with my Cummins golf cart, just for fun. Crazy thing. Two of my old, 4-stroke. What would you call these? Mobile engines, I guess. One's restored, one's not. Those are pretty cool. One of my favorite things here is my 1927 International S24 truck, which I am right now rebuilding the engine. So you may or may not see you probably won't see any rebuild footage. I'm just going to finish that up, but you will see it running. Oh, excuse me. So, bought this. It was all restored like this. Engine was in rough shape. So, I am doing that at the moment. Fixing it all up. I've got the gauges out. I've got the transmission out. Everything's out. I wouldn't say it was a beautiful restoration, but it's a functional restoration. And probably more correct on what you would have got back in the day, because from what I understand, from what everyone says, the things were nice, but they weren't nice like what we have today, what we got today. So they were functional, but in nice shape when they were built. Here's all the parts for them. Here's my Bodie Airway seed cleaner. Never ran it. I need to get belts for it. It was made in Winnipeg, Canada, which is kind of cool. Here is all the canvas for that binder. And there's a whack load of belts for the separator, which are very hard. If anybody knows how to rejuvenate these, I would love to know. Because I'd like to use them. I can get new belts, but belts are expensive. Miscellaneous parts and what have you. Yeah, this truck is my biggest project at the moment. I want to use it quite a bit, and I want to use it to haul grain with my little combines and whatnot, and I think that would be super neat. A little background on me. I am a diesel mechanic by trade. Here in Canada, I am a Red Seal mechanic, which means I went to trade school, and all the states in my country recognize the program that I took, saying that I have, a high level of training. So that's what that means, and anyone in Canada knows what Red Seal trade is. Worked for Cummins for 5 years as a diesel mechanic. So I specialized in engines. I did a lot of field service work, mine work, lots of training in the States. So that was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot, and I appreciate everything they did for me. And now I work at a trucking company that my parents own as a dispatcher, getting involved in the family business. So all that to say, I'm quite knowledgeable with engines and mechanical things on how they work. So this is right up my alley, and I got farming in my blood, which, you know, puts me into this situation where I love this old stuff. And I collect it, and it's honestly an addiction that I can barely afford. So a couple pieces were near free from friends. A lot of this stuff was from people you know. It's all about who you know. Things come for sale. People want things to go to certain people, not just random people off the internet. They want to know that their equipment will be taken care of when it leaves their property, and not just sold off to some Joe Blow. That's a big part of this kind of thing, I've noticed. And I've only been getting involved in this antique stuff for the last couple of years. I started in the steam side, and I'm still heavily involved in the steam, and it's one of my favorites. But I love all aspects of farming in the early 1900s. So with my land here, I've got 10 acres, 8 acres. We're going to plow, seed, harvest, do all kinds of fun stuff. I've got 2 tractors that I need to pick up. An early, I think it's a 32 Alice Chalmers 2535, which is in beautiful shape. A 1937 Case L, which is in alright shape, running. Those 2 tractors are on steel wheels. Those are going to be nice pieces. Another Case L as parts, so that's just going to sit off in the bush. And a Ford Super Major diesel, which is kind of funny. My dad seemed to take a liking to it. We got it very cheap, and it's doing a big restoration right now in another shop that my dad is taking care of. That's going to be a nice workhorse tractor that starts every time, and can get stuff done quickly when you don't want to fuss around with the old stuff. It's got a belt pulley on it as well. You can start tractors with, etc. So that's going to be nice to have around. That's it for the power equipment side of it, for now anyway. Who knows what I'll drag home, and you guys will be right along with me for that. I also have 2 Massey Harris seed drills that need to come home, and a old Minneapolis one-way disc that needs to come home. Those are at a different property of mine. So we got a lot of cool stuff to work on. All this stuff needs major work before it can be used in a field. So I don't expect too much field work this summer. Maybe plow a little bit, but we're not seeding, that's for sure. So yeah, thanks a lot for joining me on this first little adventure of mine. I've made YouTube videos in the past, but I wanted to make something a little more fun, very focused in a certain way. I did a lot of weird videos back in the day that were just whatever. But yeah, I found that the name Little Farm on the Prairies was kind of cute and very fitting for this channel. We are a very little farm on the prairies. And thank you very much for joining, guys. And I look forward to having you guys join me in this adventure. And we'll see you very soon with some other fun stuff.